Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just hit the link in the show description to support now.
Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
These marriages are not perfect, but all in all, they seem to work. Marriage is an institution for grown-ups.
It's like a love-hate relationship.
There are no bosses in a modern marriage. He knows he's lucky to have a wife.
Hello everybody, it's episode 55 of Husband and Wife Sentenced to Life with me, Simon.
And me, Lorra.
We're back in the studio. We're doing one in the studio.
Yeah.
And it feels like, this is from a long time ago.
It is. I think I prefer it. Well, no, do you know what? It's weird because it took me a long time to get used to the roaming mics.
There was something nice about doing the roaming mics. I'm not saying we're not going to do them anymore because I paid a lot for them mics, so we're definitely going to use them. But this feels like a little bit of us, doesn't it? A little bit of old us.
Yeah. It's
not weird.
It's nice looking at you.
Yeah, I bet it is this time of day. Well, it's not the worst bit of you I've looked at today either, but we'll get to that later on.
I don't know if you get your side of the deal with that.
Episode 55. I just want to say hello and thank you to everyone who's been listening, because we got up to number 17 in the podcast charts. You might have seen my picture I posted the other day on my stories on Insta. We were above Shagged, Married, Annoyed.
Yeah.
And we were above Off Menu with James Acaster.
Right, yeah, that's a popular one.
On it. Ed Gamble.
Yeah.
And we were above Rob Beckett and Josh Widdicombe's Parenting Hell, which I love. I've been listening to it and I love both of them guys.
You've helped get them up the charts.
So I feel like that's quite an achievement for us because we're just a little thing that we do.
Well, it's nice to be above the other parenting ones.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, it won't bother them because they're all making millions off this. Shag, Married, Annoyed, I know they go on a tour and they play arenas.
Do you think it's because we're worse parents and people can relate to us?
No, I think they're really honest about it as well. But I think this is not a competition between us and them. I think they're great, right? But just when you see that this is just a little thing we've started on our own and we're in a chart, I think it's really nice. So I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to, we've had a woman called Tracy left a review on Apple Podcasts. 5 stars. It said, great podcast, perfect portrayal of married life and the ups and downs that come with. I love that. If you've got time, look, it's not a big deal to you. It's just a click. If you go onto Apple Podcasts and give us a 5-star on there, that would be absolutely lovely. And if you want to leave us a few words, it's always nice.
Have any of our parents done it yet?
Probably not. No, I doubt it.
Too difficult a task to find out how to...
Oh, come on. The technology, for my parents, definitely, the technology involved in... it would mean a Zoom call where I have to explain it. And anyway, there's something quite needy.
Weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Or to coin your phrase the other day when I was talking about being depressed, self-indulgent. So let's get on with today's podcast. Loads to talk about today. First thing I want to talk about is your bin recycling laminate.
Well, as if you followed us on the travel diaries, the bins in Bristol became a bit of a thing for me because I think in different areas of the UK they have different bin rules, and I know that side of the UK they have that thing where they have about 10 different bins for all your rubbish, including a food bin, like literally a food bin. Anyway, so here we're not as up on that. The recycling. We've
got the green bins. That's all.
We do have, yeah.
So it's either goes in the normal bin or the green bin.
And even that, I'm like, well, what goes in that green bin?
All I ever put in there is cardboard
and
plastic. They're the 2 things I put in there.
Well, the plastic thing, like I know plastic bottles can go in, but then like plastic wrappers.
I put them in.
Do you? So I always pull them out if I see them in. So So the other day, I thought, right, I'm going to take a photo of what can go in, and I'm going to laminate and stick it on the bin. What do you think about that?
I think it's good. Well, we've got the bins next to the door. I think you should put them above the door at eye height, your eye height, because you're the average one in the family. And so we can see it. So every time one of us goes to the bin, we can check it to put it in.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, this podcast is not going to be this sexy the whole way through. So if you're starting to feel turned on at the chat, don't worry, we'll tone it down a bit. Bin recycling laminate chat.
And laminating, yes.
Of all the millions of podcasts in the world, there's someone sitting in the car now listening to this going,
Hey,
we're on a ticking clock to death, and these two idiots are talking about...
You mock me, but you remember
don't mock you.
you remember when we talked about my folder, my file for the airport?
Love it.
Somebody sent a photo, Natalie sent a photo, and she said, got my folder, just ordered my folder off Amazon, ready for my UK trip. See?
I'm not mocking you, because when you said it, I was very impressed.
And now someone's going to listen to this and they're going to go, oh, what a clever idea. I am going to print off what's needed for the bin. See?
We sound in a better mood today. I don't know if the week's got better. I don't know if it has. We've had some poorliness at home with the girls.
Oh, poor Honey. Now, Honey hates missing school.
Yeah.
And it's half term coming up, but she's had 2 days off school.
Yeah.
And she is proper poorly, actually.
Yeah, you can tell.
It's genuine.
Because when she's not poorly, she's in her bedroom all the time with the door closed. But now she is poorly. She's in the bedroom all the time with the door closed. It's a marked difference.
And she's, I was going to say she's getting away with not unloading the dishwasher, but that's pretty much the same.
Yeah, some things never change. I mean, the dishwasher's been sat there with the door open all morning and she's been in and out of the kitchen. But it's like, I love that thing with kids where the slightest excuse means they don't have to do something.
Well, I made a cup of tea and biscuits. The wrapper for the biscuits and the cup was still in the living room.
Yeah.
Because she's too poorly to...
Too poorly.
Yeah.
So, it's been a bit of a week. I did something the other day that I think all parents will relate to. I drove to work and went in the wrong direction. Now, I'm not one of these people who's tired in the morning because I get up first thing and I'm up like that. I've talked about this on the podcast before. Yeah. I'm a good morning person, aren't I?
Yes. Yeah, you are.
I'm ready to go. Everybody else is holding me back. Anyway, it was a day that Honey was off, so I didn't have to drive her to school. So I was just driving my normal way to work. The way I go to work is the same direction we go to take Betsy Pearl to her performing arts. Yeah. However, the road forks off. If I don't take that fork off on the right, then I'm forking off in a totally different direction.
Yeah.
And I was in such a daze, I just looked up. You know the thing, I think you mentioned this when you texted me back. That thing of, you get to a destination and you think, I've no idea how I got here.
Well, it's funny because the day you said it, I also was feeling it. And I just, I'd gone through 2 sets of traffic lights, I think.
Yeah.
Or one. But I
can't remember whether you stopped or started.
Well, I can't remember if I'd gone through a red or a green. And I thought, oh, what if I did go through, And
you have that thing where you think, I've just been in control of 3 tons of metal. I've been driving along 3 tons of metal at a speed that could kill anything that gets in my way, surrounded by other people in big tons of metal. And I don't know how I did it. I know how I did it. I can drive, and I know it becomes, what do you call it, muscle memory.
Right, yeah. Well, it's like riding a bike.
And you are concentrating.
Yeah.
Because if anything comes out, I'm good at the peripheral vision and all that. But I just looked up and I'm like, I'm on the wrong road.
I have done that so many times.
And the traffic's a nightmare here at the minute, so what a pain.
Funny, because Betsy heard your message, and she's like, what's autopilot? I didn't know Daddy's car's got that.
Did she say that? That's funny. Yeah. I didn't realise she had your phone at the time because I dropped the F-bomb in the message. But I did it in a funny way because I tried to put it somewhere in the message where it didn't make sense. You know, when you put the swear in the wrong place. She did kind of
look at me and she went, oh, he's in that mood. And I went, yes, but don't worry, Bets, because you and we are not to blame this time.
Got to tell you, I wasn't in that mood. I handled it well. It's the new me. I'm trying my hardest.
What do you mean it's a new you? When did you start?
No, I'm trying my hardest when I'm not with you, because when I'm with you, I can't hold it back. Because I've not
noticed, yeah.
Little debate earlier in the week. We've continued with the cooking. I still don't think we're properly back into it, and I'm disappointed with myself. Got to get back on the dieting.
We still keep looking at Deliveroo, don't we?
I think it's about 44 days until I'm 50 years old. And I'd set myself a target with a weight. I don't think I'm going to get there now, but I want to get close to it. So I've got to get back on it, right?
Okay.
So I probably need to lose 1.5 stone. in a month and a half or nearly 2 months. I think it's doable.
It's doable. It is doable.
Month and a half. So earlier this week, you did. Well, we made a paneer tikka curry.
Yeah.
Which was lovely, very rich. Yeah, again, pictures on my Insta. And it brought up the old debate: does the rice go on the top or the side of the curry?
Yeah. Well, I think I'm on my own with this in the household.
I mean, I don't know. And I don't think you're wrong, by the way.
I don't like my food to become too sloshy. That's why it takes me a lot to eat risotto, because it's wet. And
I heard on a podcast this morning, I was listening to Alan Davis and Izzy Suttie this morning, and she said about risotto, she said it's so nice, but about 6 forks in, you think, this is it for the rest of the meal. It's like eating a massive plate of mashed potatoes. You love mashed potatoes, but without some accompaniment, it's the same the entire way. So I love risotto, but I think what she said made me see it from your point of view.
And, well, it's even the same with sandwiches. Like, I like plain cheese and tomato sandwich, no sauces, nothing like that. Even when we go to Subway and they say, what sauces do you want? Nothing. You, however, like sauces, you like as much in it, you like wet sandwiches. So we're different in... Yeah. You like it wet, I like it dry.
Bone dry.
Yeah. So, so the rice for me, on the side... And then I can, have as much rice as I want to have. Because I'm not a massive fan of rice, full stop. So
I tried to do a bit of research on this, and it was saying in India that they tend to eat it with a bread, scoop it up with a bread, the curry. But they were saying traditionally they put the curry on top of the rice.
Do they?
Now, again, it was the first website I went to.
Well, in Thailand they have sticky rice, don't they? And they squeeze it almost to... Yeah.
I put it out there on a vote in Dubai and got a good response. Hundreds of people responded to it, and remarkable. And I 100% expected to lose this vote. It's one I don't really care about, but I put it out there, and I'm just going to get the result up live as I'm talking here. It's not working. Hold on a minute. I have to go to archive.
Well, when we have a takeaway and from like a curry takeaway, you'll just slap it all on. It's all mixed. Now, it's funny, I have to have mine separate because I want to taste the different curries. I like to be able to taste what each thing tastes like. Now, in normal life, I think you're fussier with your food than I am. And normally people that are fussy don't like food touching and stuff like that.
I don't get that. I mean, I don't like too much of a mishmash. Like you said with curries, I like to know which is which, but then towards the end of the meal...
Betsy is an example of somebody, like...
Oh, my God.
If she's got a slice of garlic bread on top of her pasta, now if that garlic bread gets any of the pasta sauce on it, she freaks.
In the bin.
Yeah, which, to me, I like to use my bread to dip in the sauce.
Big time.
So, but yeah, she is one of those that she can't have food touching. And you're a little bit fussy, but you like it all.
Oh, you know what you said about bread there? When you eat soup as a kid, my thing with eating soup as a kid, and it tended to be when I was poorly, is to tear up a slice of bread into like what you'd chuck at a duck.
Yeah.
And put that in, soak it.
Yeah.
Now that's like working class croutons.
Yeah, I get it.
Putting them under, and then you've got this slop. And then I can remember as you started, when you get a bit older and you go out for meals with people, the soup's on the... Watching posh people eat soup, and when I say posh, I mean anybody whose parents worked. And my parents worked, I'm only joking. But do you know what I mean? You see, when you see people eat soup properly, the way you're brought up eating soup is totally different to what you're supposed to eat soup like. Like the way they do it with a spoon. They're doing it all wrong, but that's etiquette.
And they do a lot of...
I mean, it's like that with the fork. I went to quite a conservative, what's it called, junior school, the little one?
Yeah.
And they were really funny about you having your fork upside down. And even just saying it, fork upside down. You wouldn't use a shovel. If you were shoveling cement, you wouldn't turn the shovel upside down and shovel the cement upside down, will you? You use it with the scoop in motion.
Yeah.
But apparently, posh people have decreed that's the wrong way to use a fork. Even though, if you're having peas, how the bloody hell are you putting peas on the back of a fork that's...
Yeah, it doesn't bother
concave
me. The only
rather
thing
than
that bothers
convex.
me is I know a couple of people, when they eat, they literally are shoveling into their mouth too quick. And that's just not nice to see when you're eating. But other than that, I don't care really.
Let's move on from it then. But yeah, 60% of people So the majority, I can't say a decent majority, say they put their curry on the rice, which surprised me. That's Dubai.
Yeah, well, I'm in the minority.
There's your result. Let's continue talking about food. And I don't want to bring it back to depression. But I think your depression manifests itself in one way it's how much tidying you do. I think you fill your time. Like now, we've just sat outside on a coffee and you walk back in, you walk through every room.
Yeah.
You were like octopus arms. As you walk through the room, this is getting tidied, this is getting tidied, this is getting swept up, this is getting brushed as you walk through a room.
Whilst you play Fortnite, yeah.
I walked straight through that room to the PlayStation controller. I thought, it's my day off, I'm going to have a give up.
And it's funny, I had that little, I'm going to be honest, little twinge.
I thought you did.
I had a little twinge when I was in the kitchen, unloading the dishwasher, washing up, wiping the sides down. I thought, you're all right in there. But then I thought, no, it's his day off. Now, and don't get me wrong, I don't get a day off.
And I'm working tomorrow.
But I thought, I'm choosing to do this. You wouldn't have cared if I'd sat down and started playing a game or...
Exactly.
So I thought...
And I would have got up at some point and done that with you.
Yeah, I know. So I thought, like, if I'd decided to lay or go back to bed and read my book, you wouldn't have cared.
No.
So I had to...
I preferred it.
Internalise it.
Yeah.
And think and give myself a little talking to. Are you proud of me for that?
I am.
And thought, do you know what? I'm choosing to tidy up because I've got OCD about things being clean and tidy.
But I also think, like, during the day, once the kids are at school, and if it's not at spring clean day or whatever, you could choose to do something you enjoy. You could, like you did the other day with Shelley, go and get your nails done. Mm-hmm. You could go and have a coffee, like a lot of people out here do.
I have too much guilt with that.
Yeah, you do. But I think part of that as well is filling that time where you don't want to be thinking. And the other way, the difference I've noticed since being back, as I said when we went to see James Bond the other day, we walked out and you just went, shall we go to Pizza Express? And that's just not you. First of all, with the girls are at home, it's like we're going to come home and have some food. But you just went, shall we go to Pizza Express? And I'm like, first, brilliant, but also, so this is almost like a comfort thing.
Well, it's a... what's the word? Vicious circle. It's a vicious circle because I'm quite conscious about weight and things like that, and I'm normally quite fit and active. Yeah. I've done no exercise.
We're still in that space, and we will get out of it, but we're still in that space.
How hard is it though to go, right, today's the cut-off?
Yeah. So the other night we did our usual trick, which was starting to do a little too regularly, of going to bed at 5-6 o'clock. And as we go to bed, we were going to watch reruns of Bake Off. And you went, I'm going to get 2 cakes. And again, for somebody like me who binge eats and who has trouble with the weight and who's, I have to really try to not eat. I'm sat in bed, I'm like, it's like the Pizza Express thing. I'm like, did she just say she wants to get 2 cakes?
Well, we have different...
I know, but 2 cakes.
Lorra, 2 cakes.
2 cakes is a mad thing to suggest.
Right, now, hear me out. Now, Marksies are on delivery.
What she just said then is not a word. Marks and Spencer's.
Yeah.
Marksies.
Right. Now, they're like sponge cakes are pretty reasonable for their... Marks and Spencer's are quite expensive, but their cakes...
And they're not just sponge cakes. They're Marks and Spencer's sponge cakes.
Yeah, they are. But
they are compared to everything else you buy at Marks and Spencer's.
Exactly.
Reasonable.
Now, when I read the list out, went for chocolate fudge. Now, I would go for a Victoria sponge, the drier option. I'd go for the drier option, right?
Where's the fun in that with a cake? Oxygen's pretty dry.
So you were like... So I was just like, and I don't like chocolate fudge cake, so I just thought, let's just get 2. Let's just get 1 each.
So this is the negotiations we laid in bed at tea time. Let's get 2 cakes. Now I said, well, read me the list again. You went through them. I said, well, I'll have chocolate fudge cake, but have we got ice cream? Because I don't like a dry chocolate fudge cake. Even that's too dry for me. I've got to whack it in microwave for a minute, put a dollop of ice cream on, and it becomes like a chocolate mud cake. That is perfection. And... you said we had no ice cream. So listen, the story here is that you wanted to order 2 cakes, but the payoff is we ended up ordering Baskin Robbins,
which cost the same as 2 bloody cakes.
Yeah, and you said, should we get the girls Baskin Robbins, which I didn't want to do because I didn't think they needed it, because at this very same time, the girls had a Burger King order on the way.
Well, honey, bless her. We'd had dinner. We had fed them, by the way. But she, I think, had that poorly, wanting something fatty, and she's like, I really want a burger, and I felt sorry for her. So yeah.
So look, you can see, and we're being honest about it, and we will get back on it. And I've not gone on the scales for a few days, and I'm worried sick about what they're going to say when I do get back on. So we will get back on it. It's not going to be today.
But yeah, it is that thing of every night wanting something sweet.
Quick mention for Betsy Pearl, who got on the school council the other day. Now, proud parent moment. She's a little legend. We love her to bits. But I always thought she'd be the one who's trouble. Whereas Leo and Honey have both been very studious, and they've always got school council or head girl or head boy or
house captain.
Never so much in sports, but they've always got them things. And I always thought, I've never had expectation for Betsy to get him. She's a little drama. She does singing and drama.
She got music leader as well.
Yeah, but that's because she does the music and stuff. And so I'm always happy whenever she gets anything. She's no less intelligent than the other two. But the student council thing, oh my God, you should have seen her reaction when she came out of school. Because I was on a pickup that day. And I didn't even... Look, I can remember vaguely you saying about her going for school council, but... It's in one ear out the other.
Bless her. She actually did it when we were stuck in the airport, because it was one of those things. It had a deadline, and she kept saying to me, can I do it? Can I do it? And I'm like, oh, yeah, we'll do it when we get back to Dubai. And then we were sat in the airport for hours, and I said, oh, why don't you write your thing? So,
It's, she came out of school, and she's like, this is a big one, Daddy. There was other ones. There was Arabic leader. There was whatever leader. All these little... positions, but she says school council, you get to go with the teachers, you have meetings with the teacher, you have meetings with the head teacher. Aww. You get to decide things for the school. She said, obviously I'm playing along like I ain't got a clue what it is. Really? Yeah, and I'll get to come out of class, I'll have meetings, can suggest things for the school. I was so proud, when your heart's bursting.
Yeah.
One of them little proud dad moments, proud parent moments.
She'll be a good little leader. She's so kind, but confident. So
Honey's been ill. Betsy Pearl is school council. Then there's Leo, off in university. We should give him his token mention. He has... things are ticking over. He's bleached his hair again. Well, on my dime.
I wanted to send him a little mum pack.
Yeah.
So I've been nagging him about the vitamin C, because... It seems that all the university students pretty much now have got this like cold flu thing. Really
bad cold.
Yeah. And it just it's that thing where they're not getting rid of it because one gets it, the next one gets it, and it just keeps going round. So I said to him...
And they're doing that other thing which university students and young people do, is they don't stop going drinking.
Oh, no.
They don't stop going to smoky clubs. Now, I know I sound like an old fart here, but if I get the sniffles, I shut down. I go into the bedroom... It's soup. I shut down. I stop having the influence of keeping me ill.
Yeah.
But they're young. They're stupid.
So he's going, yeah, I'm fine. Because he knows he doesn't want mum nagging him. So I thought, right. And I'm like, oh, you're going to do your hair, because his girlfriend's coming soon.
Well, his girlfriend's coming and he's applying for jobs.
Yeah.
In a very louche manner.
It's bright orange. So
it looked awful.
So I thought I'll send him the bleaching kit.
Yeah.
The vitamin C's, and I wanted to send him a pack of Johnny's
prophylactics, birth control.
They were in the basket, but then I took them out because I thought
it's so funny because you're talking to him on the Zoom the other day, and it's like, oh, so what you're going to be doing with Ruby? And I'm kind of side eyeing you, thinking, well. What would you have been doing the first time you had a week and a bedroom and your parents not there and you're both of an age?
He's not seen her for a year and a half. Yeah.
The first one's going to be quick. But, you're saying that and he's like, well, she's not old enough, like she's 17, she's not old enough to get in pubs yet, so he can't take her drinking and all of that. And you're going, oh, what are you going to do with him? Take her abroad. At Bristol, I'm thinking, you know exactly what we're going to be doing. He's going to wear the sheet out.
It's funny, and I said, "Oh, have you started taking your vitamin C?" He's like, "Well, I saw that, but
Oh, so funny.
what am I meant to do?
What
with it?
is that then?
What do I do with it?
God almighty.
It's a vitamin. You put it in your mouth daily."
Yeah, so that's Leo. But he did something that quite angered me. He sits on his bed, and what he does when he zooms us, he sits right up to the wall. As you said, he looks like he's either in a hospital or a young offenders institute.
Yeah.
Very plain background. You can't see anything.
Yeah.
When we're on Zoom, whoever we're on Zoom with, I'm like, oh, here's the dog. Look, there's Betsy Pearl over there. Hey, look, we bought this plant. He doesn't turn his camera around for the simple reason that behind that camera is a demolition zone.
Although the bed sheets were getting washed for the first time.
He's been there, a month?
Nearly, yeah.
Yeah, he's been there nearly a month. His bed sheets are getting washed. What they had to do is they had to take the door off the frame because the bed sheet came off in one. It came off like a sheet of cardboard.
But it was the fact he had to tell me. He's like, yeah, I'm just going to be washing my bed. And I was like...
Oh, he's so proud of himself.
And he was like, saying it, are you proud of me, Mum? And I'm like, the only reason you're washing your bed sheets is because Ruby's come in.
Yeah.
Like,
now, we've got this little thing where everybody else who we know is in this situation, and you've got this little Stepford wives, witches coven, Dubai mums, right? I'm not going to say the names, but there's a bunch here, and all your kids all your boys went to the same school, and you've mollycoddled these boys, all of you,
Yeah.
right? And these boys are soft as the proverbial as a result,
Yeah.
and they've all gone away, and they've all got mega, I want to come home, I love it here, what can I do? Because they're all mummy's boys, apart from ours. Right?
Oh,
Who
no,
is a
he
mummy's
is,
boy?
he
No,
is.
but what you know the difference, right? And you're feeling the difference because they're all phoning the mums up. Oh, mum, I'll do it without you. When can I fly back? When can I move home? You're not getting that because Leo, he's loving it over there.
Yeah.
Right? Which is a bit hard for us to take, but I'm glad. I'd rather him be that than wanting to come back. And I said this on the chat to him the other day. I'm like, I'm so glad that you're loving it like you are because that's what you should be doing.
and I think he does have his moments, and I think when he does, he kind of messages honey.
Doesn't tell us.
No,
right?
because I don't think
he don't want us to know.
Yeah.
Anyway, but he is quite secretive. I think the other lads are telling the mums definitely, but they're telling the parents everything, right? They get pretty much everything. But Leo, I think, is giving us dribs and drabs. Like I said to him, oh, send me any pictures you take. He's never sent me a picture, right? I don't think he's giving us the full... He gives a little, I went to a club and everybody were on drugs. He'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But he's not telling you everything that's going on, right? And 3 times during this Zoom call the other day, and I'm not very good at Zoom. It's not like I'm an old fogey. It's just that I've never used Zoom a lot because I went into work every day during COVID. There's a knock at his door, or his door opens, and he goes, we're mid-sentence, and he goes, hold on, and he's suddenly gone.
Mutes it.
So he mutes the screen and the sound.
Yeah.
And I look at you and I'm like, what's all this about?
Now, yeah, but that freaked you out. And it didn't freak me out because
Not freak me out.
No, but you were like, what's he doing that for? What's he saying that he doesn't want us to hear?
I think he's embarrassed about me and you.
Oh no, he is, and he used to do it here. Now he used to do it here when he was on Zoom to his girlfriend. Yeah. Now it's not like Ruby doesn't know we exist. He used to do it when he was on his best mate playing PlayStation. He used to mute it all.
Yeah.
And again, his best mate, you know, I'm best mates with his mum, so it's not like I'm a secret or anything like that. But it was just an embarrassment thing.
Yeah, it was, but I pulled him up for it because I thought I'll do it in a funny way, but I'll let him know like it's a bit weird, you know. I think if you're not on a business call, put it this way: if me and you were talking like we are now, let's say when I go to Expo on Saturday and you're here. Let's say I've got a bit of spare time, we start Zooming each other, right? Mm-hmm. But then at one point, you're talking to me and I look off camera and then I hit mute. And then I come back on 30, 40 seconds later. Yeah. You're not having that.
Oh,
you're
no,
like,
not.
You're like, what do you mute me for? I saw you look sideways and then you hit mute. That's what you'd be like. Now, look, I don't want to know the ins and outs. And he's definitely doing things that we don't want him doing, but I don't actually care that much. As long as he's not doing anything too hardcore, I don't really care what he's doing. But I don't like him being secretive, and you don't like him being secretive either. But then we've just been such a close family when he's been over here, and I think the reason he's not itching to get back is we're very liberal parents, but we also are very honest parents. So we've said to them, you know, like, well, look, if you're going to drink, but here's the pitfalls and here's why you've got to be careful. You know, not like you're not drinking, you're not 18, you're not drinking. You know, I think we've been liberal parents like that.
Yeah.
Not just with that, but with everything.
No, I've always said to
the
them,
talks about sex, the talks about drugs, the talks about rock and roll. You know,
and even the money situation that you know, and
always been honest.
We've said, just be honest. There's nothing you're doing or that we haven't done. You know, so just
if he gets anywhere near doing what you and I have done between us, then I'll start to worry.
Yeah.
But he hasn't. So anyway, all good there, all tickety-boo. His girlfriend's coming up for a week, coming down for a week.
I'm excited for him,
Genuinely. I can't wait to... We're probably not going to speak to him for a week and a half now. I can't wait to find out.
And the pair of them now, like, he's got his bleached hair, she's got a nose piercing and wearing DMs. They look great.
I've not seen his girlfriend since she left, right? She's... You know, I like her, but we're not friends, are we? So, and I think it'd be weird for me to follow her on Instagram and look at her Instagram pictures. But you showed me a couple the other day, and I'm like, God, she's grown up. She looks great, and I'm so excited for him.
Yeah.
I hope that it's distance. You know, everybody knows long distance relationships are a nightmare, and I would say 98% of them don't work. So they've had a very strange relationship, them two. There was a time when I thought, you know, should they be doing this? It's not fair on either of them to not have the full experience of life. Now I kind of feel like, well, it's their decision, you know, but if they're going to go for it, I hope they go for it.
Oh, yeah, and I hope,
really
I hope it you know, it rekindles their love for each other.
I think they're going to have a great week, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
You know, what happens
so.
at the end of that, who knows? Let's move on. A couple of things that happened this week. Well, this is the funniest story. It's funny, but it's a dangerous story for me to tell. So the other day I'm sitting in work now, working the radio. We've got, 10, 12 radio stations. And where I sit in the morning, I sit next to the news team. There's a kettle there. There's a little booth that I sit in and do all my work. I put my headphones on to close me off from the world. And I have 2.5, 3 hours prepping my show, getting things ready, doing my online stuff. But I can see across to the news team.
Yeah.
So if I overhear anything going on, I can take my headphones off, watch that story, use it on my show. Yeah. But I can also see everybody who's going into the stations, right?
Yeah.
Now, the other day, the station next door to ours is Virgin.
Yeah.
Which is a big station in Dubai. If you're not in Dubai, it's a huge station. You know, where there are colleagues. And the other day, I can see whenever there's fuss, if anybody ever comes in, there's always a little cloud of people around them. And there's always cameras and gimbals and flashes going off, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can see all this going off. I've not got the best eyes in the world. I look across. So what I did is, modern day stalking, I nipped over to Virgin social media, had a quick look. Amir Khan.
Amir Khan.
The boxer.
Yeah.
Who we've followed. We like Amir Khan.
I am a fan. Well, you know, I love from sport.
And I always have that thing where I think, oh, that'd be a good photo for a collection, get a selfie with him. But I can't be bothered. No, seriously, this is my thought process. You're all right once you've seen the picture and think he's an arsehole. Not him, me. But the process I go through there is, I've got to go through the embarrassment. It's not my station. I've got to go through the embarrassment of, Chris, do you mind if I get a picture? And Chris is always very generous with that sort of thing. You know, I've known people who aren't. And
I think if somebody's there, just go for it.
That's what I thought. I thought, well, what have I got to lose?
When we've not done it, like when we missed our chance with Johnny Knoxville getting a selfie, you regret it. Just go for it.
So, well, that's what I did. I thought, and I did it the other day. A trophy came in. It was the Rugby World Cup. I've never seen this trophy before, but people were going crazy for it.
Right.
It was like the FA Cup had come in, or the World Cup, you know, the Football World Cup. People were going mental. Cricket's huge out here.
I would say cricket, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You said rugby.
Oh, well, same thing. The Rugby World Cup came in.
Oh, right, okay.
What's it called? The Webb Ellis, the little gold one. They brought that into the studio. I didn't give a toss. They could have told me I could have kept it and I put it on shelf up there with E.T. and the bloody Thunderbird. But I always just get a picture. So I thought, I'm going to get one with Amir Khan. Because we watched him in I'm a Celebrity. And I loved him in I'm a Celebrity. It was, if anybody remembers, it was the one with the strawberries, him and Ian Lee. Do you remember? There was a strawberry gate. So I run over, got me picture, and...
Do you tell him a dad joke?
I didn't. I said about the... I said about the strawberries.
Okay.
I said, me and my family were right on your side. We felt so sorry for you. And he just kept fist bumping me like that. When his fist came up, at first I was worried because I thought he's a boxer.
Yeah.
Now, do I tell the story about sending you the picture, or do I tell you a story about who was with him? Let me tell that bit first. He's got this guy with him.
Yeah.
Who I think is his son.
Yeah.
This guy is 2.5 foot tall. Cute little guy. He's got a little hat on. And Chris, who's the presenter on Virgin, he says to me, "Oh, Catboy, you should have a photo with this guy as well. I've just had my picture with Amir.
Yeah.
This guy's going to be the next big boxer. I think it's Amir Khan's son because he's got an hat on. I can't see him.
Yeah.
He's tiny. I'm 6 foot tall." And I'm like, "Come on then." And I bend down. I'm like, "Who's this little fella? Come on." I put my arm around him. And I'm going, why don't you, I've got my phone up taking a selfie. Why don't you look like you take it, why don't you punch me in the face? I'm thinking he's a little kid.
Yeah.
Why don't you punch me in the face as I take the picture? It'll be really funny. Hit me as hard as you can in the face. And Chris is laughing his head off they walk, right? And I go and sit back down. I look into it. You've seen the picture. What?
Yeah.
He looked 4 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm not being offensive. He looks 4 years old.
Yeah.
Turns out, he's a world-famous singer and boxer. He's got a growth defect. He's 18 years old. I've been talking to him like he's a baby. He's 18, but apparently everybody does, and it's one of the things. So he's got 1.5 million followers on Instagram. So he's probably the most Insta-famous person I have ever met in my life. And I'm treating him like he's Amir Khans Son.
Poor guy. I mean, but then he must be so used to it.
Yeah.
And he probably is at that point now where he just laughs it off and thinks,
"Hey,
this guy
sounds like his life's pretty good."
Yeah. But I mean, you got to feel for him as well. But yeah.
Yeah. So awkward. So but at that point I didn't know you were famous, so I didn't send you that picture. So I go and sit back down. And I'm like, "Hey, Amir Khan's in."
Yeah.
And I send you the picture of me and Amir Khan. Like, "Look at this! I just met Amir Khan. You know, you love talking about I'm a celebrity. We loved it."
You got a blunt reply which said, "Cool," and then you got a selfie with me and the toilet.
It was the funniest thing. I mean, I thought I'm on the verge of being in a lot of trouble here, through no fault of my own. You sent me a picture like you were smiling like I'm smiling in my picture, and you've got your arm around the toilet and the squeezy flash
disinfectant spray.
Disinfectant in your hand, and you're doing the big cheesy showbiz smile. And I'm thinking, it's funny, but she's really mad at me. I think I told the story. I think I might have told Nadia, my newsreader. I'm like, "Oh, this has just happened." I'm like, "It's really funny." And she's like, like
I wanted it to make you laugh.
Good, because it actually, and you're not very funny, it made me laugh.
What do you mean?
It made me laugh so much. I mean, I had that fear, but it did actually make me laugh a hell of a lot
Yes, of course, there was a double meaning. This is my life, that's your life.
I know.
Yeah.
It's not fair, because I'll tell you what, if I was having a really boring, crappy time at home and you were out doing, so like, let's say you went out for brunch today and you were like, "Oh, Dane were there," Dane Bowers, who we're kind of friends with, Dane were there and sent me a picture of you and Dane. I won't be like, "Oh, here's me, just sat on set eating crisps." So, a bit snarky, but very funny. So that was that. Anyway, that little fella, his name is Abdul Razil. And I sent the picture. Our kids went mental.
Leo said him and his mate Liam used to
Apparently he's a big
watching the videos.
YouTube sensation. He boxed another little fella. He's a world-famous singer, but he also boxed another little fella. Anyway, most parents out there won't know what I'm talking about, but if you look him up, Abdul Razil, very funny, very famous. Let's move on. Today, I want to talk about something that happened in bed this morning. Now, it's my morning off. I wanted to try and have a lie-in. Obviously, I don't sleep because of the insomnia, so I'm just listening to podcasts. And I can feel you moving around behind me. And it's lovely because I can't wait to start the day with you.
Yeah.
Right? I'm really looking forward to today. We're going out. We're going to talk about that in a sec. And I was trying to get to the end of a podcast. You were starting to move about a bit. The dog had come up to let me know you were hungry.
Yeah.
So I finished my podcast, popped my AirPods out and rolled over to give you a cuddle. And I'm having such a nice cuddle, like it's the start of our day together.
Yep.
And then the very first thing you said to me was...
I can't... what did I say?
You know what you said. Yeah. Say what you said.
I actually can't remember what I said. I said something.
Well, it doesn't need to be the exact words. Paraphrase.
I've got something I need you to do for me.
Oh, yeah, that were it.
Yeah.
I need you to do me a favour.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
Right.
And when you said that, I'm like, what can have happened? Like, what can it be? Has it got... Cause sometimes you get messages from people saying, oh, could you do me a recording for this? Can you do me a quick... My husband's a big fan. Can you do me a video? Which is always fine, right? But you're saying it in bed. It's the first words out your mouth. What was the favour, Laura?
Well, I've got this little... I think it's a bite on my bum.
Yeah.
You know. Sometimes people get like those little boils on their bum, and it's only tiny. But I've got a real again OCD. If I even get a spot anywhere, I have to scratch it off.
I'm the same.
And I can feel it, but because I had my nails done the other day, they've cut them really short.
Yeah.
And also, as I told you, it was expensive, so I don't want to chip them.
Yeah.
So I can't.
So you don't ask when you're having the manicure, can you leave one long for arse action?
Oh, you know when people have that long...
No, don't talk about it. It's disgusting.
Picking their nose.
Oh, a nose nail. I've never even thought of that.
No, but you've seen that when men have that long little fingernail. Oh, it's the worst thing. And
horrible.
If I see that guy, he's
yeah.
Oh.
Even because I'm a guitar, I had longer nails for playing guitar when I was younger.
understand that.
But you know, even that, it grosses me out.
But
a
the
bit.
one long little fingernail there's a reason for that. Nah. But yeah, so I did try and scratch off, but my nails just aren't long enough. And
right.
So I said to you,
scratch it off for me.
Scratch it off, and you were like, nah, duh.
Well, it's my first thought in the morning. My first thoughts are in the morning, oh, it's so nice. I'm in bed. It's comfy. I don't have to get up. I can't wait to have a coffee with you. We're going to record a podcast today. I'm chuffed.
Well, if you asked me, I'd do it for you.
Yeah, if I asked you. Anyway, let me describe in as roundabout a way as possible as I can. Here's how I'm going to describe where this spot was. Imagine your bum is a dartboard, right? Mm-hmm. So the side of the dartboard is the side of your hip.
Yeah.
The other side is the other side of your hip.
Yeah.
Let's say the double top at the top of the board is the top of your bum. Like,
I know where you're going, and it's not.
And the bottom is your thigh.
Go on.
Right? This spot, it wasn't the bullseye.
It wasn't the bullseye.
But I'll tell you what, it was in the 25. It was in the 25.
No.
Well, put it this way.
It might have been a little bit hot and sweaty down there.
And this is the thing. When I went for the first scratch, and look.
By the way, the reason he's talking about it was because I said, if you do it for me, you can talk about it.
On the podcast, yeah. So I went to have a scratch at it. And I said to you, I can't get any purchase. And it's not that you've got a fat bum, because you haven't got a fat bum. But not many people have got a rock hard bum. I imagine there's muscle men who have. But when you try and scratch, like if you try and scratch on your cheek, you can push it into your tooth and get the purchase.
Well, you need two hands, don't you? You need one hand to pull and tighten.
Yeah. Yeah, so I need to get two hands in your bum crack, right in the bum crack.
It's not right in.
It was right in.
No.
Well, let me tell you this. If you sneezed, well, my finger with it, if you'd have sneezed all of a sudden, I'd have been wearing you like a glove puppet. So... this is gross. Let's get to end it. I tried to scratch it, but there was no resistance. It was like trying to scratch the surface of water. It just disappeared.
You're saying I've got a bum like jelly.
Anyway, I gave it a few goes. I gave it my best shot. It just weren't happening. So I don't know what's happened since. I don't know if you managed to get it off or anything like that. What I would do. Do you remember that Christmas? We had some really expensive Christmas crackers. I think they're called Tom Smiths or something.
Yeah.
And you got a mini cheese grater. It looks like a...
I'm not doing that.
Listen to me. Hear me out. I thought
you were going to talk about the little screwdriver set. That would be better.
That would be great to get it off.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm more... Because I thought to myself, well, shall I go and get the tweezers and just nip the head off it? But that would have... Because I've got bad eyes... I would have had to get in there with the old jeweller's magnifying glass. And there are things down there I don't want to see that close up.
Now, my cousin, the doctor, would probably tell you, you're not meant to scratch. You're meant to leave it.
Yeah.
But
possibly. But a scratch is very satisfying.
Yeah.
Look, let's wrap things up with a couple of little things to end on. We've had a listen to Adele's new single. It's called Easy on Me. It got released today. We played it through twice in the living room.
Yeah.
And initial thoughts from you?
I like it. I really like it, actually. But it makes me feel really sad because she's telling her story of her time in her relationship with her husband.
Yeah.
And I feel like so many people get stuck in that relationship. Do you know what I mean by that?
Do I ever?
But you know, no, but you know what I mean. Like, I think so many people do their best to try and stay in a relationship, but they don't. They're not themselves. They're not themselves, and and when they finally do break free, it's so the relief, you know.
And I don't know what the ins and outs are there. I would like to think, because I wanted them to stay together, because she's the biggest star on earth when it comes to singing. She's the biggest star.
She's amazing at singing, yeah.
And I love the fact that she married this guy. He reminded me of me a bit, like this airy, podgy guy. And apparently he's got a good career and everything. But it was just like, he's not famous. It's not like Kim and Kanye. And she's got this mega stardom life, but she's normal. And that's what we've always loved about Adele is she's normal.
Yeah.
Working class girl.
And he seemed really quiet and nice. And
yeah, and they had a kid together, and I thought, well, that's a good sign because that's moving forward. And so I don't know why they split up. I don't know the ins and outs. I don't want to particularly.
Yeah.
But I hope it was amicable for the kids' sake.
When this song is not her slagging him off or anything like that.
Good.
It's I think if anything, she's saying, I'm sorry, go easy on me. Like,
I saw a headline today about the song, and the headline was that Adele said she's her child. She's hurt her child and can never forgive herself. And I don't know if that's talking about the divorce. You know, it must be a nightmare.
Yeah. No, and I think, you know, she did that thing where obviously she did go and discover herself. She went and moved away. She went and lost weight, and she, you know, and I think and like she said, it says in the song, I was young, you know, and all that stuff. And so it made me feel quite sad for her, for him, her child, but I think she's telling so many people's stories.
But what's great is, look how much we've talked about that from 2 listens to it, right?
Yeah.
If it can have that impact on you just from the story, I think that's a good thing.
Oh, it'll do well.
Can you imagine that if today was the first time we heard, who let the dogs out? Can you imagine now? We'd just be going, it's a song about somebody letting dogs out.
What I would say, it's not got that initial boom of an Adele song.
I can't believe you're stealing my line. That's the first thing I said.
No, but I was going to say it's a grower. I actually think it's a grower.
First listen, that's what I said at the end of it. I said, the first time you heard Hello, which was kind of the last time she did this big release thing, so moving to start with, and then hit that chorus, and it was like getting hit in the face with a wet fish, a big wet emotional fish.
Yeah.
And it blew you away, and you were like, goosebumps. I didn't get the goosebumps with this, but this is the thing is, a 60% Adele song, let's say Hello is a 100% Adele song, Skyfall is a 100% Adele song, so let's call this a 60-70% Adele song as far as getting the blast. That's still better than most songs in the world.
Yeah, it's interesting you say those two, because those two are like...
Well, Skyfall's James Bond, but Hello, when it
gets
to the...
I know, and I get what you're saying about
Hello's
it.
from the other side bit, it's just... The rise is amazing. Anyway, first listen, that was my thought is, well, it's not one... I think the press and the world are going to be raving about it just because it's Adele. And it's good.
Yeah.
But it didn't have that initial blast. But the second listen straight after, I thought...
I was holding back the tears. And I'll tell you another song that's...
Because you're trapped in a loveless marriage.
Yeah. A song which... I know it's been in the charts for a while, but Ed Sheeran Visiting Hours had a similar effect on me.
Good.
When you listen to the story of the song.
Very sad, innit? It's a very sad song. He's good at that. That's when Ed's at his best. He's done some good fast ones and poppy ones, but I'm never that bothered about him.
Stealing my line now.
Anyhow, it was a good listen. Hey, last time we did a podcast, I mentioned Kings of Convenience, Quiet is the New Loud, an album that I was recommended on the Alan Davies podcast that I've been listening to all week.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'll never be able to play this in house. You won't like it. Put it on. What did you think?
I did like it, yeah.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I don't know why you thought I wouldn't, but it's...
I I think you're a bit of a hard one to accept a recommendation.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, you're a difficult nut to crack with a recommendation. I think you like to discover rather than be recommended to. Just take that, because that's a great observation on your personality.
It probably is. But it was interesting that you thought I wouldn't like it. Maybe because you, like you said, because you recommended it. But no, very good. It reminded me of, who did I say the other day? Oh, the guy that sings the Detectorist theme tune.
Yeah, Johnny Flynn. It's a bit like Belle and Sebastian. It's just kind of, it's Norwegian folk, which I don't know if that instantly sounds great. It reminds me of Hello Safe Ride, who I like, you're not that into, but they're the band who I, because it's acoustic and it's twee, they're the band that always remind me of me and you get together. More pop news this morning. Headline, which is in Sky News today. I've not even opened this story, but it's the most bizarre headline.
Go on.
Travis singer Fran Healy mauled by sausage dog he tried to save from scene of a Los Angeles car crash. Now, this story is funny on so many levels, because Fran from Travis is like a baby bird, isn't he? I love Travis.
Yeah.
And Fran Healy, I don't know how tall he is in real life, but I get this feeling he's like a little precious baby that you could, like a man baby that you could hold.
Yeah, he's quite a delicate looking,
a delicate little thing. A sausage dog, of course, is the most inoffensive dog in the world. Some little dogs are horrible. Yorkshire Terriers, little yappy, I nearly swore then, you know what I mean, the little yappy buggers. A sausage dog, to me, I mean, it's just an accident of nature, isn't it? Its legs are like your little finger, its
and
body.
even if it's going to bite, it's going to have tiny little teeth.
Yeah. How has he got more? Is he that tiny that a sausage dog to him is like a Tyrannosaurus Rex? But that's in the news today. I've not got, but it's on Sky News, unless somebody's photoshopped it. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. A couple of recommendations for you.
Go on.
Only Murders in the Building.
Yeah.
Came out a couple of months ago on Hulu. It stars Steve Martin, Martin Short, who were together, of course, in Three Amigos. Brilliant, funny men.
Yeah.
And Selena Gomez, who I only know as a singer. Was she one of these, like, who's in...
Disney ones.
Was she one of them?
I think so, yeah.
It's about a posh apartment building in New York, in Manhattan, where a murder happens. And all three of them are addicted to true crime podcasts, like you and I.
Yeah.
And they decide to start their own true crime podcast. It's funny. It's twisty. We've only watched 2. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's really watchable.
And it's a strange mix having Selena Gomez with...
She's great because she shines a light on these 2 old farts. Now, Martin Short is playing this theatre director who's a has-been, and he wears all the gear, the silk scarves and the long coats, and he's a proper lovey. Mm-hmm. And Steve Martin is a bit of a... He's done telly in the past. He's been a TV detective or something.
Yeah.
So there's a few flashbacks when he had dark hair, which is so funny, like Steve Martin playing it. But it's a great... So far,
yeah,
I think it's brilliant.
I think it's one people could binge watch easy.
And then one for the kids. 10 minutes long on Apple TV. It's called Blush.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool animation. It's a short story. And it's heartbreaking. I mean, it's a proper kick in the heart.
Yeah.
But it's brilliant. Great one to watch with the kids. Mum and Dad will cry when you see what happens at the end and where you see the credits. It's very emotional.
I love the short film animations that people make, because I think a lot of people who wouldn't normally make animations
get a shot.
Yeah.
It's almost like, not students, but like that level, post university, you know. We're heading off to brunch today. I want to mention it because we're going to a place called McCafferty's. They've got a few bars around. It's an Irish bar. Yeah. They've just opened a new one, and I've been doing the giveaway on the radio, so I've been invited down, and we're going to try out their vegetarian food. So we'll report back on that. So if you're in the area, might be one. We'll stick some stuff on Instagram about that today, I'm guessing. Yeah. So we're going to try it out. They've got a thing called Impossible Meatloaf.
Interesting.
Which is how you refer to listening to the actual Meatloaf, the singer, isn't it? It's impossible to listen to. You said you wanted to finish on Would You Rather?
Yeah. Right. Now, bearing on how we were with each other last week, a bit, you know...
Things were tense.
A few little rows here and there.
Aye.
Would you rather have a screaming match or have the silent treatment?
Whichever gets to the end quickest. No, because I hate both. I hate both. Sometimes the screaming match is a great release, but then normally what happens with our screaming matches is one of us leaves, right? One of us gets in the car.
And the neighbours must hear.
Oh, big time. Big time.
Because we're both feisty, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're both, neither of us will back down.
I'm loud when I swear. I do the loudest
Oh,
swears
you are
when we're
loud.
arguing. But it's just steam coming off the kettle, isn't it? Anyway, but the silent treatment, which did we mention this in the last one, that you can hold a grudge for England, probably at a world level, and I hate it when you do that to me. I hate it when you switch. And do you know what I hate is, I always have that thing of, if I drop dead now, you've wasted that last bit of time.
Oh, I think about that.
Only you going to feel bad then.
But I do know some people that manage to keep up the not talking thing for days.
I would rather. See, what I can do is, even in the middle of an argument, sometimes I realise that I'm wrong and I can start apologising. Or I can realise that, hey, we came to loggerheads about a work thing, not my work, but some private work for the pair of us. We came to loggerheads about that last week, about something, and in the end of it, I kind of said to you, look, I don't want to talk about this anymore, and let's not let it ruin the evening.
The funny thing is, when I do the silent treatment, it's like a competition with myself then. Because I don't want to back down, because as you know, I'm not one for saying sorry.
No, you are definitely not one for saying sorry.
But I then have that thing of, right, well, if it goes on till tomorrow, it goes on till tomorrow. But then the missing you kicks in.
But what's really annoying is, if I have any life during the silent treatment, then you fly off the handle.
Oh, no.
No, you do.
No, do you know, I wanted to watch TV. I want to stick the TV
I know,
on.
but so now, just listen what you're saying now. Please, listen what you're saying now and get this into your head, that you're not losing. In fact, if you'd have come down at that point, or even when I got, because we had an argument and I went off to pick Honey up, and when I came back, you did the silent treatment all night. If I'd have come back and you'd have gone, look, we're not going to agree on this, but I don't want it to spoil the night, I would love you so much more.
I know.
Get it into your head then. Because nothing's changed by the time we do make up. We're in exactly the same place. I still don't think what I said was wrong, and you don't think what you said was wrong. We're in exactly the same place. All we've done is, that time in between has been a vacuum, and we've lost it.
Yeah, and time is precious.
Yeah, but I want to say this, and I want to make this clear, because you do go mad if I have any life. If you hear me boil the kettle, you're upstairs, silent treatment. But I know you're listening. If you hear me put the telly on, you come downstairs, you go mental.
If I only hear you doing ting-ting on one cup.
A ting-ting, you go mental. If I right, we're nearly at an hour here, so we've got to finish. If I make you a cup of tea, you will not. It's like that. It's like it's full of wheat. It's like I've weaved into a cup and went, drink that. If I came up with a little platter of biscuits and a cup of tea and went, look,
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm wrong. What I'm saying is I don't want to waste time. Here's a cup of tea for you.
Yeah.
That tea's going down the sink. However, if I'm downstairs and you hear that ting, like, that's not a ting, I couldn't do a ting.
Yeah.
If you hear that little ting,
And it's only on one cup.
like that on one cup,
Yeah.
you're flying down them stairs before I've done the third ting.
Yeah.
And you are like the mad woman, the mad witch going crackers. If you hear the PlayStation, whom, that noise it makes, you downstairs, oh, yeah, you play games, can you? Stop wasting time.
Okay.
If you can learn that, we were going to, because we've got no time together, and I miss you when you do this.
We don't. Well, that's why I said this morning, I had a little talk to myself, because that could have easily escalated into a big argument.
Didn't need to.
And that was just me having to. So you know, halfway through the podcast, you said new you, which I've not seen yet, but
There's a bit. No, what about the new me? The first sign was in the airport when I didn't get cross about all the flights being missed. Now that was critical mass.
Yeah,
that could have been awful, and I made it not awful by not being awful.
And you didn't get cross when I did a big Christmas order yesterday. So
now jot that down, because that needs to be in the next podcast, because there was so much of that I wanted to talk about today. Because I think that's another sign of your underlying depression is you start doing mad Christmas orders.
You always say when I'm depressed, I do online shopping. And now your new thing is
trying to run Leo's life from here. Oh, he should go to this gig. He should go to this gig. I've bought you some hair dye. I've bought you some vitamins. I've not talked about it, and we're at an hour, so I'm going to stop now. But I think we need to delve into this, right? We're also on the next one, I think, going to talk about parenting fails, not in a cheesy way, but Kim Kardashian was in the news talking about it, and I'm going to try and find a list of parenting fails and see how we fare. So we're off to brunch. We'll report back on that. Keep an eye on the social medias. As I said at the start, please give us a rating, 5-star, on Apple Podcast. And by all means, leave a comment because we love to read them. And you can get in touch with us via our Instagrams, all the details on the talk up for the podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
And as I've been saying all week is we should be doing more podcasts because they need to be 20 minutes, not an hour. So I'm going to make us get back to doing 20-minute podcasts.
Well, it's all right. They just listen to this in 5 goes.
I don't know if I've got... Oh, I have got an outro.
My maths was totally wrong then. 3 goes.
All right. I hope you enjoyed it today. Sorry it's a bit longer, but we've talked about some fun stuff. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
The end.